Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237. Um, Not doing a gold, silver age horror film or a comic book this time. This is just something that I loved as a kid, still love now, and, month of October, Halloween season, thought it'd be kind of a cool idea to do, and that is Ernest Scared Stupid, which is part of this 3-pack with Goes to Camp and Goes to Jail. For those that don't know, Ernest was this character played by Jim Varney back in the 80s and 90s. Started out as an ad an ad campaign character, sort of like the Flo from Progressive or the Gecko Geico, something like that. Wide range of products that he was in TV commercials for. Then I think he got a TV show. And then his first movie was Ernest Goes to Camp. And, Jim Varney was a very classically trained, very talented character actor. And Ernest was pretty much his legacy. And Ernest is pretty much just this lovable, ne'er-do-well dim-wit who's always trying to do the right thing, always gets himself into trouble, and just fucks everything up. And as a 90s kid, I loved Ernest when I was young. I think by the time I was in when did the last one come out? I was probably first grade when the last movie came out, and at one point I had all of them on bootleg VHS. But Scared Stupid was always my favorite, and that's the horror one. The horror comedy. And these were the only 3 to go theatrical. The rest were all direct to video. None of them ever really did well. I think the only people that really like Ernest nowadays were kids that watched him back then. And so Ernest Scared Stupid, I saw it, probably around when I was in kindergarten, back in 97. And it is really stupid and silly, but I don't know, it's just always something about Ernest, or even that movie alone. I mean, I still like Goes to Camp and Goes to Jail. It's been forever since I've seen, I don't remember shit from Goes to Africa. Oh, Ernest Rides Again, the one with the cannon, that one also went theatrical. Ernest in the Army, I don't really remember. But anyway, this is about Ernest Scared Stupid, because it's horror channel and it's Halloween time. And my favorite thing about Ernest Scared Stupid, even as a kid, is the opening credits. The opening credits is still, in my opinion, the best opening credit sequence ever. I mean, Zombieland with Metallica would be a close second, but this is my favorite because, one, the music is great. It's really great, Halloween party kind of music. And it's put to, Ernest with a black screen behind him, sort of reacting to all 20s, 30s, and 40s horror films. Just, it's a montage of all these clips from classic horror films and Ernest kind of reacting to them. The fonts of all the credits are done in classic horror movie style, whether it be bloody letters or really jagged kind of letters that connect. And he'll be lit up with red or green, or he'll be peered through moss, but there's always clips during that sequence. I mean, there's clips from Nosferatu, White Zombie, Screaming Skull, The Killer Shrews, which I just reviewed, Little Shop of Horror, The Hideous Sun Demon, Giant Gila Monster, and then the brain from Planet Eris, which when I was a kid, I thought it was always the brain that wouldn't die, but I later saw the brain that wouldn't die, and it's a completely different movie. And other sci-fi ones like Phantom from Space, Battle Beyond the Sun. So, I mean, I could even just do a review for just the opening credits. I mean, if you're a horror, like a classic horror fan or horror fan in general, go look up Ernest Scared Stupid opening credits. You'll fucking enjoy it. But the movie is pretty much, because also Ernest, he's kind of like Abbott Costello or the Three Stooges, where it's like he's got a different job in every film. It's like he's in a different place and with a different job. And here he's like the city garbage man, and he's friends with these kids. And these kids are bullied by other kids, so they want to build a tree house. He helps them build a tree house. Well, actually, before that, right after the credits, before we see Ernest, it says a long time ago, and there's this girl that's being chased by this monster, and the townspeople capture it, put it in this hole, and like plant a tree where he's buried. And this other guy, played by Varney, sort of says this chant, or this credo about, the tree will seal his fate. Anyway, so he helps the kids build a tree house on this tree, this big, hideous horror movie tree out in the woods that's all fog, that happens to be on the property of this crazy, doomsday lady played by Eartha Kitt, one of the original Catwomen, who knows about the troll. It's a troll that was, not a monster. And Ernest sets free the troll because he's an idiot. Because, I mean, this is how dumb the character is, but he means well. He's like, she told me how to free the troll. He's like, it can only be done the night before Halloween. The kid's like tonight. Like, when a Worrell, like you, places his hand on a tree like this and says, whatever chant it is. It's like, where are the chances of that happening? So, he is a wicked goofball. But I would say the troll, whose name is Trantor in this, his whole thing is he gets these children, turns them into little wooden dolls, and puts them in this tree. And these, like, Brussels sprout things start blooming from the tree. The more wooden children it gets, the more they grow. And then eventually, there's a whole thing about townspeople wondering where the children are, and Ernest is running around yelling about trolls. And there's nothing on Wikipedia about production because I wanted to see who did the troll effects. Cause now I remember. And then eventually, everyone ends up at the treehouse. The pods hit the ground and they turn into all these other various looking trolls. And it's like a horror comedy to the realm of like Gremlins, where the trolls aren't wreaking havoc on the city. It's just like out in the woods wreaking havoc on all these kids, and the parents have like followed Ernest out there. And eventually Ernest has to go one-on-one with the main troll. And it's, I mean, some of it's kind of cute, some of it's kind of silly. It is very silly. I mean, a lot of the acting isn't that great. The acting by Jim Varney is great, because Jim Varney is a great character actor. I remember seeing him in stuff other than Ernest when I was a kid, and I didn't really care for him. He also does the voice for, like, Slinky Dog on Toy Story. He passed away in 2000. But as an adult, I've seen some of his more serious stuff, and he actually is like a Shakespearean trained actor. So it's funny when you see him do this. And he's so much a character actor that you do get moments that now are kind of useless, but when I was a kid, I thought it was funny. Where it's because it's kind of like Robin Williams, where like he does a bunch of voices. So like there'll be like one scene where he's in the same place, but it will just keep changing, like quick cuts, and his costume is different, and he's talking in a different voice. That happens a couple times. Which actually, there's like this heavier set older lady that he plays in a few of his movies. But, Ernest Scared Stupid, it's pretty, it takes place around Halloween. Even the cover, he's in like a jack-o'-lantern. The troll effects look awesome for the low budget that movie is. Which I think some of them were recycled costumes from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So if you kind of look closely, it does look like some of them, like a lot of them were probably recolored or repainted, different costumes. But of course, the highlight for me is still the opening credits for that, and I'm going to put a link down below for the opening credits so you can check it out. It is the best opening credit sequence ever. And also, someone recently, I saw it on Facebook, if you look up Ernest versus Ray Parker Jr., they take the theme music that's in the opening credits and put the Ghostbusters theme words, like by Ray Parker Jr. over it. It sounds epic. It sounds amazing. But, just a fun little family-friendly Halloween time movie that's... Some parts are really funny. Like Eartha Kitt has this giant, like something you see like Merlin have, book about trolls. And she gets very into it, like, it needs all these trolls and all these children. It gets really intense, and then the music gets all quiet. Ernest is like, are there any more pictures? He is a dumbass, but I always loved Ernest Scared Stupid. I always thought it was really fun, especially around Halloween time. But yeah, Ernest Scared Stupid, just, thought I'd do something different. Halloween, little special, I guess. But anyway, definitely check out the opening credits below. You'll enjoy it. So, thank you for watching.